Okay. Hello, everyone. We're here, huh? All right. So, before we get started, so let's see if we get a few more people popping in. But I did do some announcement. What happened here? Huh? That's weird. Ah, there it did. Okay. It took a little bit for the automatic things to pop up. Yeah. Okay. Hi, Jake. We're just getting to get started. Hi, Tinglish. How are we doing today? I'm realizing that it's a it is a little. I can read things though. Hello, Aaron. We're just getting to start the show. That's fine, Jake. Stay as long as you can. Okay. Well, guys, we're about to get started, and we're doing something a little bit different today. I figured that after the World Building Festival, I might have a bunch of new people tune in, whether they end up coming in live or coming in later. So might be something to do that's like not so like deep in the weeds of the conley, right? Yeah, definitely. Also, I have another special stream coming up, and I don't really want to get started back into Sylvan just yet because I don't want to have like a situation where I have one or two streams of Sylvan and then another special thing, right? Yeah. Oh, doing prep to leave for uni. That's great. You guys will notice that when I talk to you and I'm reading chat, I'm looking directly at you. I don't know if that's nice or disturbing, but I'm looking into a teleprompter. That's why. So. Oh, the video is not in sync. Can I record a test recording and see how far off it is? Well, That's a lot. That's actually quite a bit. Thank you for telling me that. I've had a couple of streams that were completely out of whack. Let me just try fix it this way. I knew that. Let me see. That seems correct on my end. How does it work? How does it sound for you? Yeah. Okay. There's a few milliseconds delay, but I don't want to like futz with it and try to make it exact. If it becomes too distracting, let me know and I will like fix it again. My audio interface is acting up a little bit, and that's causing some issues. I need to. I switched from before I had it running into like two other programs and then into OBS to add vocal effects, and then I found out that you can run VST effects directly in OBS. That should prevent it from getting too far away. So let's get started. We're going to start with just a blank Word document. Now, I'm going to talk through some reasoning here. Now, let me actually find the. Yeah. Now, I think most people who are here are going are oh okay. Most people here are going to know this that are on live right now because it seems like we got mostly regulars here, but like if somebody who happens to be just a Draw Steel fan or an MCDM fan pops on, I will mention. So we're going to do. We've done this for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, and I have. I think almost all of those incantations. I need to just make them into a publishable form so I can eventually like offer them for you guys. But it's a bit echoey. Is it too echoey? I mean, I can like adjust things, but I probably should be fine. Huh? So for them, I'm just going to mention first off, this is not the first language, and this is not what is the Vastariax, which is the canonical dragon language in Draw Steel. Yeah. That's weird. Do I not have the same effects? I wonder if it doesn't do my effects when I'm in a different test. So does it sound better now? Okay. That's weird. Okay, so I need to find. Where's my microphone stuff? Oh, I know. Does this sound better? Can you hear me? Testing, testing, one, two, three. Okay, you can hear me now? Okay. Uh, so now I know. So what happened was I'm recording from my phone. It was giving you the phone audio. That's why it was echoey. So anyway, this mic should not echo much. Anyway, so this is for anyone tuning in after the fact who's just a Draw Steel fan, if you happen to be. This is my own language, Ndăkaga, that I originally created for like a project relating to. But I'm applying it to Draw Steel today, because I wanted to be available for different systems, and yeah, so um, looking at the classes, and if I can find all of the classes, yeah, go to the classes, go to. I looked at the different spellcasting classes. So what I use this for is mainly to create spell incantations. Now, Draw Steel does not appear to actually like require verbal components. So I'm not really thinking about that for this. I'm just going to do for. There's also an issue of in. Well, we'll get into particular issues with Draw Steel in a minute. But it doesn't actually seem to require you to have incantations or pretend that you're doing incantations the way that D&D does, where D&D has verbal components, which actually I think it's good design to remove those, because D&D, especially as like gaming communities have gotten more inclusive, there's been this issue of, well, what if I want to play a deaf spellcaster? Do I have a sign language? And um, is a sign language for spells, and is that going to cause like issues because like now the DM can't use silence, right? Um, but I think it still might be fun for people to like shout things when they're doing their magic stuff. Um, there's another piece to this where in Draw Steel, uh, we have the action types in Draw Steel are you can have a move action, which generally, I mean, they're. I don't think most of these. I think most of these things are not moves. Um, you can have a main action, a maneuver, here I am, PhD in linguistics, and I can't spell maneuver off the top of my head, and triggered action. Um, yeah, I think that's all the action types. So triggered action is kind of like the like a reaction, but there's like specified triggers. Main action is like the main thing that you focus on in your turn. And then a maneuver is sort of defined as something that requires less focus and less um um like understanding. So it just requires less focus and such. So thinking about that, it might in D&D you do have the bonus actions, right? You have the bonus actions and the reactions, and I gave those shorter incantations, like 1 or 2 words, just to like show that they are quicker. Um, However, looking at actual plays, it seems like in Draw Steel you do a main action and a maneuver all the time, right? So it might be that it would make more sense for a character to be silent for a maneuver and only have incantations for like main action spells. This is another thing is that like in D&D there are very specific restrictions. Who said linguists need to spell? Being a linguist, especially if you specialize in phonology and phonetics, actually kind of makes it harder to remember how to spell things because suddenly you're thinking about the phonetics and like IPA all the time. Anyway, what I'm saying is like if you're doing maneuvers all the time every turn, it may be that like the main actions are the ones that have incantations and the maneuvers are not necessarily going to. But we'll have to see. Like so um there's also like um the other thing is choice of class. Now I've started with Elementalist here. Um the game design in Draw Steel is very different from D&D. In D&D, spellcasters are largely the same. There is one giant pool of spells that operate on the spell slot system, right? And different classes have access to a different subset of those. And then like the flavor of the class in D&D is mostly like thematic in terms of where did you get your powers? Um and what like what what kind of philosophy of magic would you have? That is not how Draw Steel is designed. Draw Steel is designed with particular like there's some like sort of world building stuff involved, but the emphasis is on what your class can do uniquely in combat. Every class does unique things. There is no one big spell list that I'm working from. Every class has their own list of abilities that they could choose from. And if you look at I'm not going to show I have the heroes book here in another tab, but I don't want to like I don't think I'm supposed to show the like the art stuff, so I'm not going to put that on screen. But if you have the heroes book and you look at the classes, you will see like detailed spell stuff. Like, and we'll be sort of copy pasting them into the doc so that you can see the actual text. But like this in D&D, this would be in like the separate spell thing, and then I have to like this kind of a spell block would be in like the spells and the um, and the reason I chose Elementalist is that it feels like that is the class where you would most likely be using um, the Draconic language, at least in terms of my world building. Like, they're sort of similar to wizards and sorcerers in like the kinds of spells they focus on, and also um, it goes against my world building, but within Draw Steel, dragons are like elementals. So it would make sense for the the people who are focused on mastery of elementals to do that. But I think that there's a lot more flexibility, and I think that in the end, I would, for Draw Steel, make um, make spell incantations for all the spellcasting classes in all of the languages, sometimes focusing on particular um, of the subclasses. Like when the summoner comes out, if I'm allowed to do stuff for that, I could do like Ndăkaga for one that's focused on like summoning elementals, and like um, Infernal for one that's focused on summoning devils. Um, I think they have different terminology for demons and devils, but they have the same like division that D&D does. Excuse me. I have bad allergies today. How embarrassing. My Google Drive is almost full. Okay. Now, let's actually look at this. So this is a maneuver, and so it's called Practical Magic. It's like the first ability that an Elementalist has. And see, choose one of the following effects. You use the knockback maneuver, but its distance becomes the range of your Hurl Element ability. We'll get to Hurl Element in a minute. And you use Reason instead of Might. You choose a creature within distance of your Hurl Element ability, and one of the following damage types: Acid, Cold, Corruption, Fire, Lightning, or Sonic. That creature takes damage of the chosen type equal to your Reason score. You teleport up to a number of scores equal to your Reason score. If you choose this option, you can spend Essence to teleport. So, this is another thing. This is there's there's three different effects here. And this is and they're kind of like very different. Looking forward to Tongues and Runes, Infernal and Celestial. We will get to that. I'm gonna do Celestial first, but Celestial, Infernal, and Abyssal, I have had ideas stewing about how to handle those. It's gonna be fun. So I think I'm gonna actually leave this one. First of all, it's a maneuver. Um. But so, and I'm not gonna prioritize maneuvers because I think that a maneuver is something like you quickly fire off, and maybe it doesn't have an incantation, right? Whereas the main action more likely will have something. So let's actually go to the first main action I see on the page. Um, and okay. Um, and these are like special characters that actually are a different like font, but we can have so so This is depending on how much you roll on the dice. You roll 2d10, and then like it's a different tier of the ability. Yeah. So, but the main thing is, so you cast a ball of elemental energy at a foe. Magic, rage, strike, and it's a main action. So, and so, like, I think basically the same rules apply that, like, we're talking about rounds that are approximately 6 seconds, right? Circular Gallifreyan. Oh no. That'd be a nightmare for me to use though. Yeah. And so when you make this strike, choose one damage type from one of the following options: acid, cold, corruption, fire, lightning, poison, or sonic. Now, I think I have I think I have words that will cover all of those. So, yeah. And so let's go ahead and so this is meant to be like your like primary attack, I think, where you just like fire off some kind of elemental thing. It's a main action, so we want a full spell incantation. Let's pull up our dictionary. And let's take a look. I think so let's focus on this flavor text. So you cast a ball of elemental energy. So it's a ball of elemental energy that you're throwing or like shooting. And if we go to um, let me say cantrip. Let's just refer to these. Right. So this is what I did for Firebolt in for D&D. And I think we can riff off of that. Now, people will remember the let's the style of incantation for Ndăkaga is very direct. There's like two major things. You either have there's a few that are commands, right? You just use an imperative. But there is also um, the second possibility is it is oh, why am I not able to talk right now? The more important one is the sort of magical performative things like when Gandalf says your staff is broken, right? The you just say the thing that you want to happen as if it is already happening. Um, so straight up indicative mood, state it like a fact, and it happens. So, thinking of that, so we have fire is one possible one. We could just kind of riff off of this. And then we go with the other ones. So acid. We'd have instead what acid? Rei is acidic. Reid, yeah. Reid be. Is that how you do the accusative for acid? Let me make sure because I think it might. Yeah, it's just reid be. Um, and this spell, I think this probably is fine way to do it. So cold. We'll go with ice. I think. Aegis. Or do we want or do we want cold? Ndăkaga. Ndăkaga means frost. I throw frost is a little weird. So maybe we go with Aegis. Aegis Bay. And then corruption. We'll come back to corruption. I can easily lightning. Chute. So chute is the word that I use for it in Dungeons and Dragons. I use that for shocking grasp, but I think chute is more like smaller amounts of electricity. We probably want to have Iji Bay. Yeah, so let's I'm not 100% sure whether I should use Nacha or Ijas for the cold. But I'm pretty confident that I want to have Iji here. And then we want lightning poison. I have a word for poison. What? Do I not have a word for poison? Okay, let's come back to that. Do I have a word for venom? No, I don't have a word for poison or for venom. Which I thought for sure I did. So we'll come back to that. We'll coin some words. Sonic. Sonic, it's gonna be. This is gonna sound so. So that would be dube. No? Dubebe, right? Let me see. Thunder. Dabe. Dabebe. 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 So thunder. Actually, that sounds kind of badass. I throw thunder. Dabebe. Gukikibe. Dabebe. Gukikibe. Dabebe. Gukikibe. I feel like I'm getting better at speaking Ndăkaga, even though I haven't been doing it for a while. So we've got why did I have that? Okay. Yeah. The Dabe actually is, I really wish in our actual play that we'd gotten to use this, but one of my favorite incantations that I did is the one for Thunder Wave. Is Dabe Agritag, which means hear my thunder, right? This it's like a command to multiple people, hear my thunder. I thought that was really good, and also just the way that it worked rhythmically. Dabe agritag was really cool, and it's so unfortunate that I did not get to cast that. Maybe in the future when we do or it should be gritag. Yeah, dabe agritag. Yeah, but anyway, we're working on these. So we've covered the acid, the cold, fire, lightning, and sonic. Let's make a word for poison real quick. Let's do poison because and poison I think is for the green element, right? Um, you have earth, fire, green, void are the specializations, but there's also like water and lightning and all kinds of things, huh? So what would we do for poison? And and I don't have a. Let's go ahead and so that I don't have the same thing. Ijaspe. Ichibe. Should it be Tape? Oh yeah, that's right. Tape. Wow. Uh, every one of these is a hard word. Maybe we need to get a soft word. Um, so let me. I did not think that I was going to have to get my. Let me get into there. Get my new profile, profile up, and we will go to Lexifer, And then this is Sylvan. So I need to go find, let me just make sure that I have oh gosh, this is annoying as hell. So I'm having this problem currently where Windows is hiding the folder that I want. I don't want to, I want to make sure that I have, be down here somewhere. Yeah, so I have that. Yeah, so that's fine. So I need to go and get the Ndăkaga. I was sure that I had words for poison or venom, but you know, sometimes you don't have what you think you have. Okay. So let's go take that. And we'll get like 10 words. And we will get into Lexergy. Man, been a while since we worked with making new words in Ndăkaga, huh? Jay learns Nihongo. Where? Oh, you're somebody on Twitch. Okay. Okay, Draconic. I think this is the file that I want. So apply. So ga ba a yuga ge ma'a. Kind of like ma'a. Aka. Let's give let's generate a few more. Buffet. Okay, let's what is our word for, and I'm going to decide, I'm going to say, let's see, would they have the poison venom distinction? I don't know, because English barely has a distinction between poison and venom. It's basically just pedantic people who insist on it. But I'm gonna make it the same word for now, but I reserve the right to change it so that there's two different words. So okay, and so, and I think I'm gonna put this one. I'll give you four choices. Let me see. Ae. It is interesting. Let's see. Buffet. Maybe. Ib or Ika. Actually, let's give you 5. Ika. Ika. And we'll do a ranking poll. And give you until... give you 10 minutes. Give you until 9. And create the poll. Share. And let's see. So go to that straw poll. I will be watching the results to see. You go and you rank those in your order of preference. And we'll see what pops out of that. So let's say DD. Meanwhile, let's talk about corruption. So let me actually go to the book and find a description of what corruption damage even is. Let me see. I don't know if it's going to be in the heroes book or the monsters book. Let's see. Maybe in combat. Damage. Damage types. There we go. Abilities and effects. Note when they have to deal with any of the following damage types. Okay. There's just a... I'm thinking... So maybe it's in the monsters book. Or it could be that it's under the Elementalist. Okay, green and rot are two different things. Interesting. Those. Okay. So, just yes. So corruption damage involves like rotting. There we go. Um, which is a little bit weird to deal with. Okay. Back here. So, because I have a word, afflict a bountiful decay that causes corruption damage. Um, yeah. Ray of agonizing self reflection causes corruption damage. Um, this just causes, like, just directly causing pain. So corruption damage is like kind of similar to necrotic in D&D, I think. So I think what we can do is we have a word for rot. If it's here. Maybe decay. Agree. Okay. Rot, decay. Yeah, I mean corruption. So we have agree, which means rot or decay. Saying I throw rot is probably the weirdest thing to me. So I'm thinking a little bit about. There is a spell in D&D that I had where it just like says rot. Um, but here I think. Let me see. I think more of on the lines of you will rot. Um, because it can be a an intransitive verb. So I think actually I'm going to have a completely different incantation. Um, so if I know my own verbs, yeah, tugri. So it should be tugri. Oh yeah, Aaron. I looked that up once, and it actually is connected. So cast meaning to throw, is where you get cast a spell. Um, it's interesting sometimes when you stumble on these metaphors and haven't realized that they were metaphors to begin with, because like really, so um, I don't want to make it. So my natural inclination is togruji ik. I think that's fine. So Uji is the Irrealis, but if you add the ik to it, must, that makes it much more like definitive. So I think that so it should be Tugruji ik. That can be it for now. Oh, I need to. Hey Nemo, how you doing? So Tugruji ik. And the breakdown for that is second person, rot, Irrealis, must. And basically that would be you will rot. We'll work with that. I think there are other spells that do directly cause like corruption damage that maybe I would prefer to use this incantation with. But I just feel like throwing rot is a little bit weird. Let's see. But that covers. So we've done fire, acid, cold, fire, lightning, sonic. That's corruption, and then poison. Remember, this is all like first draft stuff, so our poll will be closing in a minute. Let me quickly take a look at what's going on there. You got 1 minute to get a vote in before that closes. Oh, 25 seconds. And then we will finish up this spell and move on to the next one. So it should be over now. Okay, so here's the results. Ma'a won out. I kind of like that's I'm happy about that. I like Ma'a most. So let's add. Let's go Ndăkaga Ma'a and oh. What am I doing there? Noun. And then if we Oh my. I didn't realize that the plural nominative is going to be ma'a. Ma'e. Ma'and. But here it's going to be ma'ape. So it's, yeah. Right, ma'abe. Ma'ape gikukibe. Okay, so that's great. We've got a word out of this. Let's move on to the next one. That took quite a while, but it's like 6 different abilities in one, right? So let's go on to the next thing that's in the class. So we've got Hurl Element. Practical Magic we are leaving till later. Let's see. A Beyonding of Vision. Okay. Shared Void Sense. So this is... Hey, what happened here? Let's see. These are the... So we have the... that's a maneuver. So shared voice, void sense. Let's skip over this. So shared void sense is a maneuver. For each victory you have, you can target one creature. Victories are a thing that you gain by winning battles or advancing the story. You can target one creature. Each target you benefit, you gains the benefit of your Beyonding of Vision. I think we could do that. Now this is a little bit, like the flavoring of this is a little bit different from the way it would work with my existing world building. Because this is a void elemental feature in Draw Steel. In my idea, this would be something that's related to like the dream metaphor, right? For me, the dream of the world is the plane that contains all planes, and abilities like this would work through the dream. But I could work with it. The void is something that exists like without outside of the dream to me, but I can work with it. I can work with that and flavor it a little bit. I believe I have an incantation something like this is. Da insraf. Until the end of your next turn. So they get this, and then let's just to be clear on what a beyonding a vision is. I will paste that in. So you instantly recognize illusions for what they are. You can see invisible creatures, and supernatural effects can't conceal creatures and objects from you. Additionally, you always know if an area or object you observe is magical or affected by magic, and you know what that magic can do. So, by the way, this is a cool thing in Draw Steel. This is a level 1 ability. Yes, exactly, Nemo. But this is a level 1 ability that gives you the equivalent of True Sight and Always On Detect Magic. Right? So actually, that's given. I think here's what I can do. Here's what I'm thinking. So magic in Ndăkaga is Insuraf Dream, and I think this is. Here's what I'm thinking. We're gonna have to have two different versions of this incantation because it's multi-target. Are you hearing that? Good with. Let me make sure that I have this. My post positions. It should be. Nyade. Yeah, nyade. Yeah, nyade. Good nyade. Good nyade. Insrafun if. I'm gonna actually. Yes, I'm gonna. Hold on a second. Okay. Apologies for the children screaming. They are not happy. Yeah. Well, so this is the difference in philosophy between the two games, Nemo. In D&D, if you start at level 1, you started out as a scrub, right? Which is why a lot of people start at like level 3, which is where you start like getting your actual abilities. Oh my god. Can I get a limiter? But in Draw Steel, the idea is your dudes are already heroes, so they already have super cool abilities when they're starting. Like that, your backstory is that you've already done some heroic stuff. It also only goes to level 10, whereas D&D goes from like your complete scrub to you go to level 20 and you're a god, right? Um, so it's kind of compressing that experience. It's a more focused game just about being heroic, right? Insrafun beif. Insrafun if agu. That's right, because I need and kichi. Right, because we need an imperative. So gudanyade insrafun agu insrafun if agu kichi. So let's gloss that out so you know what's going on. This is the first person pronoun. With this is committative with, so I'll just say com there. So and then I think I want no. Do I want insrafun if or insrafif? I think insraf if the dream the from imperative C. And then if you have multiple people, because you got lots of victories, it would be Grici. Grici, yeah. And both of these will translate as see the dream with me. I think that works. So it's like, so you have this cool ability. You can see, you basically have true sight and detect magic all in one. And then you're sharing it with somebody else. And since magic is associated with the dream of the world, we're bringing that in. See the dream with me. See into the dream with me. Oh, actually, maybe we want to do that. Ba, and 2 instead of to emphasize. Usually the postposition that goes with C is agu, but ba. Wait, I don't know. Let me double check how this works. Ichi. So with agu, with ba, it's look at and watch or watch. But I think we can probably, so it would be, I'm gonna say that in this context, it's look into the dream with me. There we go. Yeah, I think that works. So yeah, at level 1, not only can you do this, but you can also get things. And maybe since it's a maneuver, you don't necessarily do this. You just activate it without any incantation. But I think it might be fun to have it. So let's go to another ability. You do have to have a specialization for this. Okay. Now, so if you're an earth elementalist, yeah. So it's a melee range thing. So this is kind of like Molder. So motivate Earth. The Earth rises, falls, or opens at your command. You touch a square containing mundane dirt, stone. This is a main action. We definitely need something for this. Stone or metal, and create a five wall of the same material. I think this is 5 squares. Okay, which rises up out of the ground and must include the square you touched. Okay. Alternatively, you touch a structure made of mundane dirt, stone, or metal that occupies 2 or more squares. You can open a 1 square opening in the structure where you touched it. You can instead touch an existing doorway or other opening that is 1 square or smaller in a mundane dirt, stone, or metal surface. The opening is sealed by the same material that makes up the surface. So you can make a wall. You can make an opening. You can I'm thinking something like the earth obeys me. Now, elemental earth is the word that we want. So earth. Abep is the element of earth. So I think that makes the most sense. So we have something like Abep Bep Be Abep D, and then obey Ekif. Yeah, go to Ekif, and we want 3 singular. Yeah, third person Ubikif. Ubikifube. Ubikifube. Wait, that's not right. Ubikif. Ubikifte. Ubikifte. So, Earth, ergative, 3, follow, 1. Follow also means obey. So, Abepti, Earth obeys me. I think that's a pretty good incantation for that. Had to sort a mattress. Oh, this is the British version of sort. You just had to put it where it belongs, huh? Okay. This is actually going pretty well. Yeah, Abepti Übekräfte. Abepti Übekräfte. Put your hand on a stone wall. Abepti Übekräfte. And open it up or close up a doorway, or it applies to a whole lot of things. So that makes sense. Now, and then return to formlessness. That's the weirdest. That's another thing. All of these ability names, so many of these ability names are very evocative. It's, some real writers working on this. So, return to formlessness. With the merest touch, you cause an object to turn to slag or ash. Fire, magic, melee main action, melee 1x, one mundane object. You heat the target and cause it to melt or combust, destroying it. If the object is larger than 1 square, then only the square of the object you touch is destroyed. And this just happens. That's pretty wild. So you just straight up incinerate a thing. It has to be an object. It's not, you can't do this to a creature because that would be too powerful. But you can just, and it has to be mundane. You can't destroy like an artifact, huh? Destroy gig. Yeah. It's a transitive verb. I didn't make the paradigm for this, but I can probably get it from. So if I get that. So the question I would have is, do I want to make it fire destroys or I destroy with fire? I think I want to make it I destroy it with fire. I destroy it with fire, yeah. I think I just want EPD. Yeah, I want it to be fire destroys. Ngek be. Now you have to have an object, but you don't have to specify what that object is. Oh, I better make sure that I'm doing the script stuff here. Okay. And what is the, it's actually ngeg. It's not ngeg, it's ngeg. Ungegbe. Okay. EPD should be EPD in and that is fire ergative 3 destroy. So And I'm gonna say yes. I could personalize the object and make it ingegte, but I actually feel ingegube baby feels better. EPD ingegube. EPD ingegte. Put that down as an alternate. Maybe I'll think about that. Because it might be interesting if you personalize the object. Or personify the object. But on the other hand, like there are there are there's a possibility you could have a spell that is more directed at intelligent agents, right? So I'm not sure about that. Well, I hope your new mattress serves you well, Aaron. Okay. By the way, am I still sounding in sync? Let me double check with my recording. Test 1, 2, 3 testing. Oh my. Just kind of testing. Yeah, let me fix that. Yeah. Okay. That looks pretty good. Okay. Um yeah, I'm going to have to say. So, the next tranche of different things is these specialized triggered actions. Um, so they're going to be all triggered, and but maybe we can say but I think we can. So this is like a reaction, right? What happens is the power you channel grants the ability to get back in the fight. Breath of Dawn Remembered. It's a green ability. The target starts their turn or takes damage. So, and the target can spend a recovery. So spending recoveries is how you like heal yourself. And there are certain abilities that give you the ability to spend a recovery when you otherwise wouldn't be able to. Um, you only get your recoveries back if you do a respite, which is like 24 hours. Unless you have an ability that lets you get more recoveries or something. So and then this just happens. You spend a recovery. If you spend one essence, you can get additional recoveries. I'm a little so. This is something I have not done any healing abilities. I don't think for I've not done any healing abilities in Ndăkaga because like wizards and sorcerers basically don't do that. So I'm thinking about this. How does this work? Now, for this one, we can think about the green element being one of the tags, right? So green is the element of like nature. If I grab the it's in the elementalist stuff because the elementalists are the people who care about this stuff. Green is the element of creation and growth. Green abilities make and manipulate plants, fungi, and other forms of life to hamper foes and nourish your allies. Other forms of life. I think actually having the word for life in there is useful. And Breath of Dawn Remembered. Now, you are not directly healing them, you are allowing them to heal themselves. Do I have a word for heal? Uti. Um, okay. I'm going a little bit more abstract on this, but I think it fits thematically in what like the flavor text of this spell is talking about. It's like fe fe a the menge u. Wait, what's life? Mengegi. Mengeki is life as in like kacheka. And this is for targeting another person, because this one would be of life, imperative feel. Kahika. Wait. Heka. This is a weak word. Heka. Heal the life of the world. Fe a da meng geki ka he ka ka fefe a da mengeki ha kika ka kika. Okay. Oh my goodness. And then, oh wait, kabe. Hold on, I need to edit. If. Yes, that's better. Accusative. And I want a definite article there. Keep be. Wait. Be. If. Be. No. Why is it be? If. Fefe a da mengegi be. Mengegi be. If. Ha kikabe. Ha ka kikabe. Ka kikabe. And then the if it's a self target, it's fefe a da mengegi be. If mengegi be if ga kikabe. Ga kikabe. And I feel the life of the world. Yeah. Okay. That's good. That's good. I think we've got less than 20 minutes. I think we can get through one more. So let's grab the next of. This is kind of long for a triggered action. So this incantation is kind of long, actually, now that I think of it. But let's just let's leave it for now. I may revise it and make a shorter one. So, explosive assistance. You add a little magic to an ally's aggression at just the right time. Fire, magic, ranged. It's a triggered action. The trigger is the target force moves a creature or object. The effect is the forced movement distance gains a bonus equal to your reason score. The forced movement distance gains a bonus equal to twice your reason score. So imagine, so forced movement is any time that you have made another creature move on the battlefield, right? So imagine like you have an ability that knocks someone back. This this definitely needs to be short. I'm thinking this needs to be one word. If we're gonna have one at all, because like this you have to cast this at the moment that someone impacts with somebody else or throws somebody else, and basically you're using a fiery explosion to multiply the force of their blow, right? So push ida it ida ida ida. We could get two words. Teda. Ubid. No, that's way too. I'm gonna say. This is gonna be. It's gonna be sort of a humorous understatement too. If we go. Is it or Oh, it's just geta. Getate. Getate. And it's one push. Push. Two. Literally just says, I push you. But in context, that feels right for this particular spell because of, like, this one I feel like we can kind of get away with it being a little longer, but this one, definitely because of the nature of what triggers it, we need to be Gerate. I capitalized my G. Gerate. I push you. And so that is just like straight up very. And then this is another one. This is why I think like maybe I don't necessarily need the incantations for these. Because they're very quick. So Skin like castle walls. You cover yourself or an ally in protective stone. Earth magic range triggered. The target takes damage. Effect, the target takes half damage. If the target... Okay, this is very good. This is also a 1 or 2 words thing. You're seeing the attack come in, and you need to turn their skin to stone really quick. So we need to be short on this one. Yes. Okay. I was gonna say your skin is stone, but I feel like that's too much. But if we have cover, icky. Okay. We don't have a current. This becomes the word for spider and for web, and then um I think we need a different word for cover. Let's give ourselves... Let's grab another one of our words that we generated. I don't have time to do a poll right now. But Buffet. I think that's perfect. Buffet. Okay, so we'll go... And Buffet. Oh, it's because of parallelization made it... Yeah, okay. Cover. And I'm going to actually say this originally meant to hide or conceal. To say that it, sort of things have moved around semantically. So, epundis. G. Epundis gabafete. Epundis gabafete. And might be that you could omit this first part and just say gabafete. I cover you. I resurface you. And this should be soft as well. There. Yeah, there's plenty of imperative. There's imperative. So, the way that the imperative works, Cat, is you replace the prefix. So I have an imperative up here. Of feel the life of the world. Fife the mengigibe if hakikabe. I know what I can do. I think I'm just going to remove this. And that will be short enough. Mengigibe if mengigibe if ka Okay. But so this ka, so what it is instead of the usual second person forms, which would be ta or what is the second person plural? Blanking. Let me look at my navigation. Yeah. So usually ta or dri, right, are the second person forms. However, if you want to make it imperative, that you replace those with ka or gri. The logic is that these historically came from, there is a verb, there's a verb that means to cause, that merged with the yeah, so it comes from gintrisp, right? This gi kind of got attached onto imperatives. It means to force to command, right? So it was like originally like I command you to do this, and then it got fused in and coalesced with this g this k sound coalesced with the other one to make the ka or the gri with the first sound. So yes, we do have imperatives, and there's lots of imperatives in these spells because it fits. But yes, so mengigibe if gachikabe, right? I think that works much better as like a shorter thing. Just feel the life. Sounds like a hippie saying. I guess that kind of works. Okay. Gabafete. Gabafete. Okay. Ependis. Gabafete. Yeah. I think we can. And then. Okay. And that's it for today. What do you guys think? Just like shout out in the chat. Maybe I'll do a thing in the last. I have another stream before my event. Do you want to do another special where we continue? There's still lots of elementalist abilities, even if we go even if we like go for like a whole other 2 hours, we won't get through all of the elementalist stuff. So question is, would you like another draw steel special where I do more of these draw steel abilities, or would you like to do one that's on Daggerheart? In either case, I will send these notes on the Patreon for you guys to play with if you have a draw steel campaign you want to test these. And that will be cool. Yeah. But anyway, thank you all for watching. It's been fun. And I'm going to say happy conlaying.